Hi there guys, and welcome to another virtual lesson. Today we are going to continue with this series of videos that pretend to show you how cyberspace have been used with very harmful purposes. And we are going to be discussing now NotPetya virus. I'll begin by telling you that this virus is the one who has made a greater damage, economically speaking. We are talking about more or less 10 billion US dollars. To better understand this NotPetya virus, I'm going to start talking about Petya virus, which came a little earlier in the same year. Petya virus, alongside with WannaCry virus, were the ones who put in the map again what is called a ransomware. So a ransomware, it's a type of malware that seeks to block by encrypting all the information on any given system. And in order for you to being able to access this information, you actually have to pay the hacker who has attacked you. This is very curious, guys, because it's kind of a kidnapping of data, right? You actually will receive a message, or all that you will see on your screen. It's a message that is kind of a rescue message. It will tell you that your data have been encrypted, have been blocked, and if you want to access it, you will have to pay to a certain address, and it has been always made by paying on bitcoins, so it's very hard to trace as well the destination of these resources. Okay, so actually NotPetya got his name out of this Petya virus, because at the beginning NotPetya was considered to be another ransomware. Finally they will discover that they act in a similar but different manner, and it wasn't a ransomware. Even if your computer will display a rescue screen, a rescue message of your data, it didn't matter if you made a payment or whatever, you will never get your data back. Now that we are talking about types of malware and we list this ransomware between them, I would like you to know as well one other term that is very often used for this type of codes, and it's a worm, actually, because we have already discussed about one of those. A worm, it's a type of virus that has the ability to copy itself and spread alongside a digital network. So, as you may understand by now, for example, Stuxnet was a worm, okay? But it can actually be both of them, right? Because it could be a piece of code that can copy itself from a device to another, but when it's on certain device, we'll apply this ransomware function that will block your data and then display a rescue message. So in 2017, a great number of governmental organizations and companies in Ukraine will be attacked by this virus, which, as I told you, erased terabytes of information from all of their systems, all of those systems that got infected. This was a massive attack over Ukraine. We are talking about more than 6 power companies, 2 airports, plus than 20 banks. All the ATMs and card payment systems were also crushed. Practically every federal agency and at least 300 companies were also hit by this attack. It's estimated that almost 10% of all computers in Ukraine were infected by this virus. We are talking about a massive attack that was even considered or referred to as a cybernetic invasion. As I told you when we discussed Stuxnet virus, experts will always try to understand fully what was the purpose behind it. But here we have to say that experts still argue about what could have been this purpose in the first place. Okay? Some of them will say that NotPetya wanted to raise a very specific type of information, but maybe it was just so evident if they attacked only the database they needed. So apparently they just deployed this attack and affected thousands of databases at once. Okay? Other people say that this was meant to spread a very clear message, and it was, if you are trying to make business on Ukraine, that will not end well. Like, beware, get out of this country with your enterprise, and this would have made a very important impact on the economy of this country. Here again, the attribution of the responsibles of this attack is very hard to determine, because as I told you in earlier videos, these cyber attacks are very untraceable. Okay. In the other hand, we can make the same exercise we made with Stuxnet, and we will be concluding that Russia was the man interested in something like this to happen. Anyhow, I'm here to tell you how it was deployed, and we will find some very disturbing facts about it. To know how it was deployed, we are going to start talking about Linkus Group, which was an Ukrainian family business that was in charge of the maintenance and security of an accountant software which was called ME-Doc. And this software is actually very similar to one accounting software that I think even in our country it's very, very famous, which is called Quicken. So for those of you who have never heard of Quicken, these are softwares that a lot of enterprises will utilize in order to get together their taxes, payments, and it's just very practical because there's a lot of built-in features on these programs that allow you to save a lot of time regarding these kind of matters. Okay, so apparently this virus will spread by infecting the servers of Linkus Group. By infecting those servers, they will automatically spread to all of the systems in initially Ukraine where this program, this software was installed. Okay, but this virus had the ability to copy itself to other devices on the same digital network. Let's say, for example, that in your home you have a Wi-Fi signal, right? A Wi-Fi network. And for example, if your brother or your sister have another computer and you get infected, the computers of your brothers and sisters or parents and also their smartphones or whatever connected to the same network will be automatically also infected by this virus. The thing is that this was possible because the NotPetya code was kind of a mixture between two very dangerous exploits. One of them, and this is where I told you this gets very disturbing, was leaked by the NSA. It was created and then leaked by the NSA. Apparently hackers get into their files, their ultra secret files, and leaked this exploit out of the NSA, and this was called the Eternal Blue code, which actually took advantage of some protocols in Microsoft computers to being able to deploy very custom code on the operating system. Okay, so actually when the NSA reported this leak, Microsoft worked on a security patch and they fixed this vulnerability. But as you may know, a lot of us, a lot of people all over the world doesn't really update their systems. So this patch could have been available for everyone, but not everyone had the patch installed on their Windows computer. But even if you have the patch installed and you were safe of getting infected, if some other device on your same network got infected, then your computer was totally vulnerable as well, because being on the same network, this virus will also steal your password and information and then enter your device as well. The other component of the NotPetya virus was actually created in 2011, and it was called Mimikatz, and it was created to expose Microsoft and some of their security flaws. These Mimikatz on that given moment will prove that passwords will stay on the memory of the system, so they kind of were very vulnerable to be stealing by any hacker who wanted. This Eternal Blue exploit was also used for spreading WannaCry and Petya virus, and actually these are the fastest propagating piece of malware that anyone had seen to this date. As it happens very often, creators behind NotPetya virus apparently didn't estimate, didn't calculate the spreading power this virus had. So it will infect computers all over Ukraine, but it will also spread to a lot of different parts of the world. We are talking about the USA, all over Europe. We are gonna find cases also in Tasmania. I mean, everywhere really. We did even have some cases here in Colombia as well. We are talking about hospitals, construction companies, pharmaceutical enterprises, food producers, manufacturers, all over the world getting affected by this virus. All their data will be erased and there was nothing to do about it. Even a Russian company would be affected. We are talking about Rosneft, which is an oil company. When we talk about $10 billion, which are the losses that were calculated thanks to this virus, we are referring to all of these expenses that companies had to make or in which they had to incur in order to sustain their operations. We are talking about the value of data that was lost. We are talking about all the money they had to pay to their customers for the service that they couldn't bring in any given time. We are talking about the hardware that was lost and also the investment that they have to incur to repair the most part of their hardware. So if anyone needs the final proof about the beginning of the cyber war, I think here it is. It's something that has been going on for years now, and it's an ongoing situation, no doubt about it. Finally, I just would like to give you some tips about how you could prevent your own computers from being attacked by this kind of malwares, these ransomwares who will kidnap your data. First of all, just make sure you make the system updates with some frequency. It's very common that we postpone these kind of activities, and there's a big risk we are taking by doing so. Second, I will say it's very important to make backups of all of your information, right? Because if you get attacked by some ransomware, you could just reset your system and put your data back again, and you will lose nothing, you will pay nothing, so this could be a very nice solution for it. And third, be very careful about the next things, about the content you download on your system, the applications you execute, and the emails you open, because it is actually very common to for the ransomwares to be spreaded via email. Okay, so watch out, guys. Only open the emails that are coming from a trustful source. Okay. Well, guys, this is all for now. I hope this has been very interesting to you. Remember to stay at home, and see you later.